You know how I am on a Bosman's holiday? If you can perhaps augment that into a portmanteau word, it might be Boss Osman's holiday. But anyway, I am on a Bosman holiday, let's just get that straight. And you know how I'm in Brussels? I'm also taking time out to take over the reins of Anderlecht because I'm a nice person and I thought they needed a bit of help. They needed some of my footballing expertise and nous to restore them to former glories. Yeah, you know how I'm here in Brussels doing that on the side, but predominantly I am just a sightseer. I'm a tourist. I'm out there with my Nikon camera, flashing, taking pictures. Not that type of flashing. Let's get this hauled right back into line. It's a family show. There'll be no such vulgarity or lasciviousness upon my watch, ladies and gentlemen. And we're not past the 9 o'clock watershed yet, as this video goes to air. Anyway, I'm out there with my Nikon, clicking away, taking photographs, indulging in all the Belgian touristic pastimes. I went down an alleyway and rubbed an old man for luck. Now that was rubbed, not robbed. Okay, get that straight. I am not some kind of sneak thief who goes abroad to conduct his nefarious activities. We also went round Grand Place, admired the lovely buildings, tripped up over the cobblestones, had some chips and mayonnaise, a little bit of moule. Lovely, very delectable. High cuisine in Belgium. It's much neglected, I think, by the rest of the continent, who regard Belgians as, well, I think the French tend to regard them as slightly boring Belgium, as one Frenchman called Pierre once uttered to me from behind a fug of Gallois smoke in a tabac in the Rue Saint-Michel. Did that happen or didn't it? I'll leave you to decide. Are we living in a meta world? Is this a creation or is this reality? Or is this indeed the beginning or the lyrics of a Queen song? Are we moving perilously into that territory? Who knows? Answers on a postcard. Perhaps you might like to comment below. So I went and did my little bit of sightseeing. Camera around the neck. Even though I do have an iPhone, I could have taken photographs on that, but I wanted to retain the traditional image of the 1970s tourist. And also I consumed vast quaffs and quantities of Belgian beer, some of it 15 and 16%. Then I rubbed a little statuesque figure who is caught in the act of peeing. And I wasn't arrested for it. Of course, the mannequin P is how you pronounce it if you're polite. If you're Flemish, you pronounce it in its proper inflection as de mannequin piss, and that's the only time on this show that you will be permitted to use the word piss without being driven out of town, boy. So, then after my 15 or 16 glasses of 15 and 16% ale, my rubbing of the little boy peeing, I ventured into the European Parliament and had a debate, and then a fight. Anyway, hello, it's Baz here on Bosman's holiday. We are in Brussels, of course, the heart of Europe, while Britain wants to try and extricate itself in the big bad Brexit. Britain wants to get out of Europe. I want to stay in Europe for as long as possible, and that is why today I have based myself at the heart of Europe. Going on holiday, a little excursion. We're starting off in Brussels. Who knows how long that will last? It depends how long Anderlecht put up with us. But in our spare time, we are throwing in a lot with Anderlecht. I'm giving them my footballing knowledge. I'm turning up to training every day and saying, that player's maybe not quite right, or he can play out in the left wing. Yeah, trust me, I am a manager. I know what I'm doing. I've got the experience. And the poor fools, they believed me. Anyway, we've had a reasonable start to the campaign. 3 consecutive victories. That's not too bad. We've gone with an unchanged team today. We're at home to St. Troiden. This should be 3 points in the bag, but let's not count our chickens before they've hatched. I thought the match earlier in the campaign against KV Ostend would be what they call a gimme. It wasn't quite as straightforward as I'd assumed, and that really is the problem. I'm making far too many assumptions. The Belgian Pro League is stocked full of decent sides. They're not all dead wood. There are some reasonably talented teams in the Belgian Pro League, and if you give them space and you give them time and you don't take them seriously and you do indulge in a bit of complacency, they can shock you. They can certainly give you a match. KV Ostend did. Sporting Charleroi most certainly did that. We had to rely on a goal 7 minutes from time to rescue the situation. Peter Gerkens feathering the ball into the net after a lovely cross from Hani. If you've not seen that goal, make sure you watch it on the previous video of Bosman's holiday. Lovely goal, exceptional play, but that was the only real burst of creativity that Anderlecht produced in the whole 90 minutes, and it took them until the 83rd minute. So Royal Charleroi must be a bit perplexed as to how they managed to lose that tie, because they were in utter command of it from virtually start to finish. If it wasn't for our goalkeeper and some resolute defending, and I have to say a bit of profligacy from the Sporting Charleroi forwards, they got themselves into sterling goal-scoring oppositions, but then either seemed to panic, get spooked by our big lumbering defenders charging at them, or they just weren't very good at finishing, or indeed a combination of all of those. But nevertheless, Sporting Charleroi did hit a blank against us, and I'm still amazed that that is the case. I'm still amazed we did not concede that day, because I have to be honest with you, Anderlecht did not play well. They did not turn up. So they've had a bit of a rollicking in the dressing room. They've been given double training sessions. They've been appraised of the fact that this is an important game. St. Truiden are a fairly erratic side, a Flemish side as well. They come from the town of St. Truiden. It's got a natty purple and yellow strip, which is perilously close to ours, but they do get to retain their home strip today because there's just enough yellow peril on it not to clash with the Anderlecht Pars Wit, purple and white, of course. And of course, the opening two matches, we beat Antwerp comfortably on the first match of the season, 2-0, but the match that I am making an analogy to, KV Ostend, I'm making an analogy of that match with this one. I think there might be similarities. If we are mired in complacency today, if we do not give St. Truidense the full respect that they merit, then I think it could be another KV Ostend situation where we failed to take them seriously, and by the time we realised we were in a match, it was almost too late, and we really had to desperately battle hard to ensure that we did not come a cropper. I suppose an ignominious cropper as well in front of our home fans, and also exacerbated by the fact that it was the first home match of the season. Transfer business, we have been engaged in a bit of that. We've sold Frank Buxer, you will recall, at the conclusion of the last Bosman's holiday instalment. We were considering an offer from Malaga. We gave it a bit more deeper consideration, and on balance we decided that Frank Buxer will not be making any first team appearances this season, and £2.7 million was far too tempting an offer to resist, so he is on his way to Malaga. We've also been engaged in a bit of transfer activity in terms of bringing a player in. We've gone and looked at Olua of Leicester City. We've made a bid. Now, Leicester City wanted £3.2 million, but we have a lot of spare cash sloshing around in the bank, an unfeasible amount of spare cash. So we thought, okay, we'll take it up to £4 million to ensure that we get this guy's signature. I think he's the out-and-out target man that we're missing. I don't think Teodorovic is quite the cure for that. I don't think he's quite the man, and I think he needs to take a step back. He seems to drift wide and left. In fact, he seems to be everywhere else but spearheading the attack. So Teodorovic will play today because the Olua deal has not gone through yet. We've had a £4 million offer accepted. We're yet to negotiate personal terms with Aloa's agent, and I did say Aloa, we haven't signed Aloa. We've not signed the entire Aloa athletic squad. No disrespect to Aloa, but there's no way they'd cost £4 million. So just to clarify that, it's Aloha, not Aloha, and we're not making a Hawaiian greeting gesture either. Aloha! That reminds me actually of a story that once appeared in the Scottish news about an American family who had pen pals. Yes, this was the days before the internet. They actually had pen pals. They literally used a pen and inscribed inscriptions on a piece of paper, sent it away via airmail, and got a reply from Scotland. So this couple, or this family, they had friends in Alloa, and because nobody had verbally pronounced Alloa, and because they'd never heard Alloa being pronounced by anyone, they just assumed it was pronounced Aloha. So they thought that their friends came from a town named after a Hawaiian greeting. Superb. You couldn't make that up, and I didn't. It did happen. Look it up. So we've gone for the same starting lineup that has served us so resolutely and so well for the first 3 matches of the season. That is, if the screen would just like to hold steady for one moment, I thank you, most kind of you. Teodorovic retains his place up front today, although for how much longer, who knows. Hani wide left, Gherkins wide right. They've been in sensational form lately. They've been highly productive. Hani set up Gherkins for the winning goal against Sporting Schalke in our last outing. We've got Amazu dropping back to provide defensive cover on the left for Hani when he overlaps. We've got Chipishu doing a similar role on the right. Midfield stranglehold of Trebel and Coombs. They really have been in indisputable form. They've been unplayable at times this season, and they've given us a real grip on the midfield. So the midfield is not really a worry for me. We've got 2 quality enforcers in there. And while Coombs likes to stroll forward, Trebel likes to drop in and cover for him, which is all nice and tidy, nice and good. And then we've got the back 3. They really pick themselves, these 3. We've got the veteran. How many times in this save, this FIFA 2018 save, am I going to say Olivier Deschacht is a veteran? He's a stalwart. He's a rock. He is Mr. Impregnable. And he's also Mr. Anderlecht, the oldest player in the squad. Very much a fan's favourite, alongside Den Donker, who's very much the promising young thing. He's the young Turk in the defensive lineup. And Spasic, who's not quite as good as the other 2, but his deficiencies are covered by their strengths, I would say. Although looking at that, Deschacht is only 71. Dendonker quite clearly is head and shoulders above the other 2 with a 79 rating. And Spasic is 74, but he has a lot of promise, and I'm sure he'll develop over the course of the campaign. Deschacht, on the other hand, I think we may get one more season out of Deschacht if we're lucky, and then he might call it a day and hang his boots up. Anyway, St. Troiden today, and we'll get the match underway. It's St. Troiden moving forward now. Ayala, what a lovely day. Beautiful sunny day here at the Constant Park Vandenstock. As Teodorovic, you see the problem with Teodorovic, drifting out wide. I'd like him to remain a bit more stationary. I admire and applaud his hard work. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's absolutely superlative that he wants to do that. But really, I want him to be. I want him to be a target man. I don't want him to involve himself in the match. Sorry for that pause there. The controller slightly spasmed in my hand for some unfathomable reason. I'm not quite sure why. Let's get that back. Let's get the controller back under control. Anyway, St. Troidense are threatening here. This is dangerous. And Amazu gets a foot in and then knocks it forward to Hani. Hani, some nifty footwork from him. But he's given the ball away to Besas. Oh, lovely turn inside by Akko. Now that is a supreme finish. And St. Troiden have silenced the Park Constant Vandenstock inside 10 minutes. 8 minutes on the clock. That's wonderful football. Lovely angled ball in. He took a touch and he's fairly thumped that past Sells, but where's the marking? He's absolutely free. He's got the freedom of the 18-yard box, but that, you can't take it away from him. From Akalatse, that is an absolutely sublime finish. And St. Troidense, through Elton Alcalatse, are 1-0 up after 9 minutes, and once again Anderlecht have a mountain to surmount. Oh, this is not the ideal start that we were looking for. And it makes the signing of a new striker, I think, all the more imperative. Nice little nutmeg there, I think, into Coombs. Coombs into Trebel. Trebel lays the ball back now to Deschacht. Deschacht looking for an option. He's got the run here. Oh, but that's just too short. And overhit. He overcooked that one slightly. And Bolly has the ball. 2 players are shrugged off by him. That's wonderful strength. Akalatse, the goal scorer, lays it back to the start. Akalatse again, wide. Let's not let him cut in because he's already given us an indication of how adept he is at finishing from that right-hand side. Here's Botaka now. Botaka threatening on the left, lays the ball to Besas. We have to get a foot in here, and a chance, and a goal! The goalkeeper got a knee to it, but he couldn't keep it out, and unbelievably, sensationally, St. Troidense have taken a 2-goal lead, and I think it might be Akalatse again. So their fans go wild, they are jubilant, but Akalatse's popped up on the left, he's now popped up on the right, and we have failed to control him. He's been elusive, he's been a shadow, he's been a ghost, and he just turns, swivels, and fires that one into the net. Sells got a hand to it, but it was too powerful for him to keep out, and now we find ourselves in real trouble. Elton Akalatse, 2 goals inside 20 minutes. This is unheard of for a team from the provinces to come to the Park Constant Vandenstock and play so imperiously. They are in utter control of the game. Anderlecht have barely got out of their own half. We need a response here, and we need a response pretty quickly. De Schacht looking for options. There aren't many. Trebel lays the ball into Coombs. Coombs trying to get the ball wide, but that's another misplaced pass. It goes astray, and it's rather comfortable for St Troidense to tidy up. Long punt forward by the goalkeeper, nodded on by Bolly. Chipu gets a nod onto it. There's not much in the midfield here either. I was praising Coombs and Trebel to the hilt. They've been rather slack today. They really need to get a stranglehold on that midfield. Spasic got plenty of time and space on the ball. St Troiden are playing with one man up front, and they are happy just to sit back and let us play in front of them, because frankly at the moment we don't show any indication of getting in behind them. So that's a very comfortable tactic for St Troidense to pursue. But here's Chipshu, lovely little play, lovely little step over by Chichu, gets the ball in, but Baker gets the ball clear. It's not a particularly good cross, I have to say, but then he is a defender, so let's give him some extenuating circumstances. De Schacht hit that one rather sharply and hit it first time, and I don't even think he knew where that was. That was where that was ultimately heading. That was a heart and mouth moment there. 31 minutes on the clock. Anderlecht still trail by 2-0, and more compellingly and more distressingly from an Anderlecht point of view, we haven't really indicated or shown any sign that 2-0 lead is going to be threatened in any way. We've not really been provoked into a response, but here's Den Donker. Oh, surely that's a foul, referee. He says no, it's just a good old-fashioned shoulder charge, and the St Troiden Despedesci Bichu now drifting in. So I thought I was going to pass that straight to a St Troiden's player, and we get the ball wide again now. Here's Amazu just manages to keep the ball in play. Here's Hanny. We need a good cross from you, Hanny. And he's blocked, and then perhaps he takes a knock, and he's just had a little bit of a tangle and an altercation with a player. All perfectly fair, no foul even suspected there, but let's hope Hanny's not injured, because that would be a massive blow as we approach half time. And Alcalatse, the man who's put us to the sword so far, hunting his hat-trick, and this time we don't get away. Bolly makes a real menace of himself and dispossesses De Schacht on the edge of the box. Coombs just gets a heel on that and blocks it. I don't think he knew too much about it, but here's De Peter strolling forward from his defensive berth, plays the ball inside to Bolly. Bolly now looking for Akalatse and Trebel, and a shot finally into the arms of Sells, who gratefully clutches to the ball for dear life. And there is the half-time whistle. Well, what can you say about that first half for Anderlecht? It has been, I don't think disappointing sums it up. Humiliating, perhaps. Not good enough. It's really been a case that St Troidense have, they've excelled. They've certainly belied their lowly position as a provincial club. I did say they were erratic, I did say they were unpredictable, but at half-time we find ourselves trailing at home to St Troidense by 2-0, and Elton Atkalatse is the man who has scored a double, and he has been the man that has put Anderlecht firmly under pressure, and his lethal finishing has really put us into a very difficult position. We find ourselves in a corner at half time, and we really do need a response. I know I said that in the first half when we went 1-0 down. I reiterated it when we went 2-0 down, and there's the challenge on Hanny. It's fairly innocuous. Dessau's not going in there with any malicious intent. We'll take a look on this. I mean, there's the half-time stats. The damning indictment for Anderlecht is no goals, no shots, and no shots on target. Well, if you don't have a shot, you're not going to get one on target. St Troidense, 2 goals out of 3 shots, and they've had 3 shots on target. So, if anything, they're efficient. But look at the possession. We've had 57% possession to 43%, but most of that possession's been in our own half. We haven't really got over the halfway line. We've not put the ball under any pressure in and around the St Troidense box. Blatantly, we haven't created any chances, so that's going to have to change and radically alter in the second half. We've been a bit more robust with the tackles. They've committed 1 foul. There've been no red or yellow cards, and bizarrely no offsides yet. It's going to be a tall order for us to get back into the tie. Now, what do we do? Do we go for some alterations? I think Teodorovic, given that he is not likely to be a first-team contender or a first-team regular in the near future, we may have to go for somebody. Ganvola is the only striker that we have who is capable of replacing Teodorovic, and he's significantly worse according to his ratings. He's got a 70 rating. Teodorovic has 75. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. We will stick with the starting 11 for 15 to 20 minutes. We'll see if they can redeem themselves, get back into the tie, put St Trodoinsa under a bit more pressure, and see if we can sneak a goal back, give ourselves a bit of daylight, and give ourselves a bit of impetus and a bit of encouragement to go on and win the tie. At the moment, though, I would take a point. Absolutely no question about that. But let's see if our alleged superiority can show. Here's Amazu, takes the shot. Oh, just narrowly scrapes by the upright. Just kisses the post on its way through, but Amazu striding forward, he has the bit between his teeth. In fact, that's a bit further wide than I initially anticipated. Oh, I'm getting a bit excited there, haven't I? I must have thought that was closer than it was. But yep, Amazu appears to have taken the halftime team top to heart. He's decided, I am not happy with this 2-0 deficit. I am going to prove that I'm good enough, and I'm going to prove that I want this. I am passionate to try and get ourselves back into this tie, to claw ourselves back into contention. Ball's bought by Coombs. At some point we're going to have to go for this. We've got so much possession, so much space, but we really do need to get that killer ball. And Denor gets in there just as Hani, I think, was about to release the ball, and that could have been a good pass. Here's Spasic, looks up, plays the ball wide to Chipachu. Chipachu's too slow. Chipachu retains possession and now gets the ball out to Gerkens, but he's dispossessed, and the ball slides out for a throw-in now to Anderlecht. Substitution for St Trodoinsa. Jordan Botaka makes way for Christian Chabalos. Nice ponytail there. I wonder how long it took you to do that in the morning. Damor goes in, and I thought that was a foul, but the referee doesn't agree. Chabalos, the new boy, the substitute, comes on and lays the ball back, gets the return. That's a lovely pass. Chabalos plays the ball inside to Besas, and look at the midfield space there that they've exploited. Here's Besas again. They're just playing with the ball at the moment, and Anderlecht cannot get a grip of them. And here's Bolly, took a stumble in the box. I thought he was about to go down like a submarine there and claim a penalty, and I thought the referee for a moment was hoodwinked, but he just stayed on his feet. Another substitution now, and it's the 2-goal hero Elton Atkalatse that takes the standing ovation, or takes the opportunity for the standing ovation there from the small band of St Trodoinsa fans who've made the journey here to Brussels today. But what an impressive performance by that young man, and a shot from Bolly as he cuts inside, wraps his foot round the ball, but it just swivels beyond the post. And a third substitution now, Igor Vetokeli coming on. Bolly, the man who's just had that effort, spinning wide of the upright, coming off. They must be exhausted. They must be run into the ground. The energy-sapping sun and the possibility of a victory, and the fact that they've been working hard to shut down the space and deny us any opportunities. A good ball in now, though. Teodorovic smacks it. Good save by the goalkeeper. Parried away. Such force and power behind the ball that the parry takes it outside the 18-yard box. Gerkens lays the ball in now to Trebel. Oh, the ball does not fall fortuitously, and Trebel's tackle, the ball misplaced, runs off his stud, and now here come rather invigorated and refreshed St Trodoinsa. They've made the 3 substitutions. I think it's about time we retaliated or responded, because, well, Hani's injured, and in any event he'll need to come off. So we don't have any threat down that left hand side. And do we have a ready-made replacement? We don't. Right, okay, we're just going to have to put Granvola wide, and I'm sorry, Gerks, you've ran your race today. You're not exactly completely out of energy. There's still a little bit of juice left in the tank, but I think we need some fresh impetus up front, a change of direction, some fresh legs to try and give us an extra dimension and to try and push us on to claw ourselves back into the tie, or at least give the fans a suggestion that we're capable of responding, because this has been a very lame, a very turgid, a very uninspiring, insipid, any word you can think of that just means not very good, any synonym of that variety applies universally, absolutely, and unremittingly to Anderlecht today. So we'll make those two substitutions. Ganvuala, who is ostensibly a striker, he will play out wide left. Hanny's injured, so he will have to make way. That's an enforced substitution, but a tactical change is Bruno, who is a right winger, coming on for Gerkens, who I have to say he's flattered to deceive a bit today, Peter Gerkens. He's played well in the first two matches, but today he's been rather anonymous, and I think you have to commend and give credit to Sint-Truidense and their tactical setup for denying him the space to run into. He's struggled all afternoon, and I think a substitution is probably the correct option there, and he will hopefully come back refreshed and fighting for the next match, which is coming up hard on the heels of this. Incidentally, we'll stay on. We'll have a double match issue today. We've got a match on Wednesday evening against Lokeren, another Flemish side. That, again, based on the evidence of this, is not going to be a stroll. But anyway, let's get the second half underway with the two new substitutes on. We've got 20 minutes to try and save ourselves here. 20 minutes for a miraculous recovery. Here is Chipachu. Get the ball in. Good cross. Keeper Perot comes out. And here's Coombs. Oh, and what's happened here? Is this another injury? Oh, dearie me. No, that's still Hanny. We haven't completed the substitution yet. That's a bit of a relief. Here's Lagarde. Lagarde drops the ball back to the Sart. Into the Peter. Just composed play here by Sint-Truidense, retaining possession. They know they don't have to bust a gut now. They have this seemingly... Oh, good save and touched away there by Sells, and Sint-Truidense are still creating opportunities, and the fact is Anderlecht aren't. So this is, well, I was just about to say that as Den Donker knocks the ball out for another Sint-Truidense throw in a dangerous area just level with the 18-yard line, and here is the substitution for Anderlecht. Silver Ganvola and Massimo Bruno come on. Gerkens and Hanny make way. They've got a little over 10 minutes to try and make an influence and an impact on this game, to have an influence and make an impact. I can't really see it. The through ball's knocked out and cut out by Denor with exquisite ease. That's not going to trouble them. That's rather too obvious. Well, there's a good pass wide. This is Ganvula. What can he do? He appears to be running into a blind alley, but he still keeps possession. There's a chance on now for Trebel. He made an exceptional run, and Ganvula had the vision to pick him out, but unfortunately the accuracy was not to match the vision, and it's just punted out now by Sint-Truidense, who look dead on their feet, and no wonder. There's been an absolutely wonderful display, but Teredoric, he does well here. Oh, he's dispossessed by Denor at the last second, just as he was about to surge in on goal. And with 4 minutes to go, the prospects of Anderlecht getting back into this tie and pulling off an unbelievable feat of recovery are diminishing, especially with passes like that. As Bessis gives the ball away, Coombs lays the ball forward. Here is Trebel. There's a pass on for that's a lovely pass and a good finish and a good goal, and it's Bruno, the substitute, who remains composed just to stride onto the pass and thunder the ball into the back of the net with only the goalkeeper to beat. Lovely flick inside by Trebel. Lovely diagonal run to evade the defence in the offside trap. I think Teixeira can take a lot of responsibility there for the concession of that goal from a Sint-Truidense point of view, but the goalkeeper, he's disgusted at his defenders. But Massimo Bruno, a lovely diagonal run, a darting, elusive diagonal run, and can we achieve the unthinkable here? We've got this goal in injury time. Can we get one more chance? One more chance. Dodoric has almost won the ball there, and again he's passionately persistent, trying to get in there. No, that final chance will not come our way. The referee blows shrilly on the full-time whistle, and it's those small, intrepid band of Sint-Truidense fans who've made the trip to Brussels who are celebrating vociferously. This is a result they could not have foreseen. It's beyond their wildest dreams. They've come to the Park Constant Vandenstock against the favourites for the championship, and they have absolutely blown Anderlecht away today. A comfortable 2-0 victory, a composed 2-0 victory, and Elton Alcaste was the man who got the 2 goals. But you have to give immense credit to the whole St Truidense squad. They worked hard, they denied Anderlecht any space, they allowed us to play in front of them and retain as much possession as we liked. That didn't bother St Truidense. They were content to hit on the counter, and even as the game eased into the final 10 minutes, St Truidense was still probing forward, still looking to add to their tally, and Anderlecht really were a sad reflection of what they aspire to be. So we've lost our first match of the season. Elton Atkalatse, the one-man wrecking machine, has absolutely destroyed us today. Looking at the match facts, we only managed to muster 3 shots on goal, 2 on target, 5 shots on goal, 4 on target for the visitors. The possession statistics are interesting for the second half. We were so in command in that first half. We had the lion's share of possession in the first half. The second half, not quite so dominant, although it's a rather narrow deficit, 49% to Anderlecht, 51% to St Truidense. But the fact is, they had more of the ball and they controlled the second half. So despite the fact that we got ourselves back into contention, briefly, it was a brief flurry of excitement, a brief little spark of optimism. It was too little too late. It wasn't enough, and let's be honest, if Anderlecht are struggling against St Truidense at home and trying desperately to get back into the tie and only scoring with a whole half to try and restore parity, at least, if you're only scoring in the 90th minute, and indeed beyond the 90th minute, you don't really deserve to win. So we'll take our medicine, we'll take our defeat, we'll take our punishment, we'll take the vitriolic criticism in the press, we'll take the the melodramatic and shrill houndings from the fans, although I have to say the Anderlecht fans have every right to protest after that dismal performance today. Fortunately, we've got a very short window of opportunity to try and rectify this, because in 2 days' time we go to Lokeren, and that's a match now that you have to say we have to win. Looking at the league table, it's Standard Liège who now suddenly find themselves in pole position. Club Brugge are in second place, and also Club Brugge have 3 players in the top goal scoring charts: Vossen, Limbombe and Diaby. There's some of the results from the weekend. Another good win there for Antwerp, 1-0 at Mechelen. Beveren and Lokeren drawing 1-1. And some interesting transfer deals. I mean, this is the realm of fantasy for Anderlecht. We're not going to be competing in this marketplace, but you know, £71 million is an absolutely phenomenal, and I have to say, ridiculous amount of money to be spending. But we find ourselves struggling a bit in the league, and let's just take a clarification now on that league position. Just have a flick through here. Okay, so we've got some. In fact, we've got some contract negotiations to go through with Aloha. So we'll just see if we can get that sorted. In fact, there's the league table. We are third. Fortunately, the damage has been restricted somewhat. We're only a point behind the top 2 of Standard Liège and Club Brugge. It could have been so much worse. So there's a bit of relief and mitigation for us, but it could have been so much worse. There's no doubt about that at all following the defeat. I just have a lovely sip of water just to quench the old thrapple there. Okay, so we've got Aloha. He's hopefully going to be coming in. Hopefully we'll get these transfer negotiations wrapped up fairly quickly. So there he is. He's flown over to Brussels with his agent. He's sitting in my manager's office enjoying a cup of tea and a Belgian bun, I dare say. Or perhaps some chips and mayonnaise. Right, so let's go to the transfer hub and see if we can get this negotiation thrashed out nice and early. Let's hope there aren't any snags in this. We just want to get the transfer negotiations concluded, done and dusted, and get Aloha in the team, because we desperately need some firepower up front. We desperately need a striker who can act as a target man. That's a rather natty little suit I'm wearing there, and that really is a nice little tuft of bum fluff beneath your chin, my old son. You'll be getting that shaved off before you take to the field in my team, I'm afraid. Yep, you will be a crucial player. We'll skip through that. Yeah, that's a very, very good likeness of Aloha. Does he have that little tuft of bum fluff in real life beneath his lip, beneath his lower lip? And I've got a bit of acne there. I must have had a really hard adolescence. Yeah, okay, let's skip through that. I'll give you... Now, what do you want? Do you want a 3-year deal? You're getting a 3-year deal. And will you agree to that? Oh, he's not happy. He only wants a 1-year deal. I'm offering you stability. I'm offering you longevity. I'm offering you security. There are many professional players in this day and age, Mr. Aloha, who would bite my hand off right up to the elbow for a 3-year contract, and you just want a 1-year contract. I think that's rather inconsiderate of you. Okay, I'll give you a 1-year contract just because it is now essential that I get a player of your calibre in, and I need you in quickly. I'll accede to your demands. Oh, right. I'll put the release clause in. How much do you think we'll go for here? In fact, you know what? No, I'm not going to put a release clause in. He's only here for a year. Okay. Right, okay, you want to get straight down and talk money, you avaricious, grasping individual. That's what it's all about with you, Mr. Aloha, isn't it? Your wage, what are you presently on? 55 grand a week. Right, okay, so we'll give you, seeing as we do have quite a surplus wage budget, oh, in fact, that's going to take up our entire wage budget. Oh, I don't think we're going to be able to afford 55,000 a week. We'll go to 60,000 a week and see, and you can lump it and see if that will oil the wheels of commerce. Submit that offer, please. Let's see. Oh, that's a fair offer. Oh, thank you, Mr. Aloha. You're not such a grasping individual after all. I have got some renewed respect for you. Okay, so that looks to me as though you've signed. I think we now have Leonardo Aloha in the Anderlecht squad, and hopefully he will be available to make his debut against Lokeren. We'll see in a minute. I think that's concluded the deal. We'll just move swiftly on to the Lokeren match, and then we will check our squad. We're at home to Lokeren. Okay, so this... Right, it's imperative we win this match, because if we have 2 successive defeats against teams that the Anderlecht fans and the media, the Belgian media, would expect us to win against, particularly at home, if we have 2 defeats to 2 of the lower ranked provincial clubs, then I think we would be in severe danger of a massive deduction in our manager rating, and I think we would push ourselves closer towards being considered on an unsteady peg. Our jacket, as they say in Scotland, would be on a shuggly nail, and we'd be in a fairly precarious position, or we would be advancing stealthily, if that's the correct expression, if it's not a bit of an oxymoron. We would be advancing stealthily towards a cliff, and we would not just teeter off it, we'd be about to plunge off it if we lost to Lokeren, hard on the heels of losing to St. Truidense. That would be an unthinkable scenario. It would be a scenario that the Anderlecht fans couldn't have contemplated in pre-season, and after the start we made, okay, there were indications in a couple of the matches that we weren't quite the finished article, and we were a bit complacent, and perhaps the quality wasn't entirely there, studded throughout the squad. There were some deficiencies in some areas, but I think most Anderlecht fans would have expected us out of, but this 2 home matches coming up against 2 of the lower ranked sides, I think they would have taken it as given that we'd get 6 points out of these. As it stands, we only have the possibility of taking 3 points, because we played so abjectly against St. Truidense in the last match. We must not, I repeat, must not have a repetition of that. The players have been told that in the strongest terms. They have been warned that they must up their game. They've been commanded to play at a higher tempo, and they've been ordered to get the ball forward and try to get behind the opposition. Don't just, play pretty football in front of them. It's all very well having possession, but you have to do something productive with that possession, and we failed miserably to do anything productive with our massive possession in the first half against St. Truidense, albeit in the second half we were restricted and St. Truidense had more of the ball and certainly were more effective in possession than Anderlecht were. But that first half, we had 57% possession in the first half against St. Truidense, and that really is just unbelievably bad that that's not been converted into at least a shot on goal, which we failed to register. So let's see if Aloha is available. Oh, he is. He's on the bench. And surprisingly, I am slightly surprised by this, he's 2 rating points below Teodosic. Right, okay. We will gently ease Aloha into the squad today. We will not pitch him into... I'll not say a crisis situation, because one loss does not equate a crisis, even if it is a loss at home to a club that you would be expected to convincingly see off and beat triumphantly. It's not a crisis yet. I'm not going to be lured into that type of melodramatic chit-chat at the moment, but... fundamentally, we've got to win today. So I think it's unfair to throw Aloha right into the melee at this moment in time. We'll give Teodosic one more opportunity to impress us, but I can foresee Aloha making an appearance at some point today. There's an enforced change. Hane will not play today. Unfortunately, the captain and left winger is injured, so we're going to have to find a left winger. Do we have a left winger on our books who can replace? We do, Saif. And it's only 3 points of a deficit there in terms of his rating. Or, hang on a second, hang on a mo. Who's this young whippersnapper? Onayakuru. Okay, yes sir, yes indeedy. We'll put Onayakuru wide left in place of the injured Hane. And he could prove to be a better player, so Hane might lose his place here depending on how well Onakuru plays, depending on how successfully Onakuru grabs this unforeseen opportunity for him to make a name for himself. So, on yourself, son. The emphasis is on you. I've thrown down the gauntlet to you. Can you respond? Let's see. Right, so... we do have one new player, but not the anticipated one. We've got one new player starting today, but not the one the Anderlecht fans and media expected. I've kept him in abeyance. I've kept him on the bench for a dramatic late appearance. I'm hoping it doesn't come to this. If we go through this game today and we need Aloha to come on and save us, it's going to be a game that's not turned out well again, which we just cannot afford. That cannot happen today. But anyway, let's move on. So yes, I want to keep those changes. And we'll move on now to face Lokeren. Under the floodlights at the Park Constant Vandenstock, so there will be an ambiance, there will be a fantastic atmosphere generated. But we really need to, I think we need to get an early goal here today just to settle the nerves, just to soothe everybody's tension, soothe everybody's disgruntlement after the 2-0 defeat to St. Troidense. I think it's fairly imperative that we have a swift reaction and the players prove, in fact, I hate this as I keep on reiterating, it's not my favourite thing. I don't really like these training drills and I just want them to finish as quickly as possible. We'll get that one in. Go on, son. Off the poor effort. Anyway, moving on, here we are under the floodlights. Oh no, it's, well, I thought this was an evening match. It's not, quite clearly, unless day has turned into night in Brussels. It's an afternoon tie. That's interesting. Anyway, nevertheless, let's move on. As I was prattling on about, we really do need to get an early response. So an early goal would be the order of the day. That is on the menu, but it's Lokeren who are attacking, and here's Torres. Nice little switch back by Torres, and Soder was looking dangerous, and the Anderlecht defender, I thought, got his boot to that to turn it behind, but it was Soder apparently, the Lokeren player, who got the last touch. Ball high into the air. Gerkens nods the ball down to Coombs. I have to say, Coombs had a fairly anonymous, ineffectual match, but he's just such a reliable customer 9 times out of 10 that he was in no danger of being dropped today. I think he's an integral part of the squad, and I think it would have been madness to leave him out based on one poor performance. I mean, every player's going to have a bit of a dodgy game then and there, every now and again. Spasic leaps in ahead of Soder. Soder's already proving himself to be a bit of a robust customer. He's throwing himself around, but he's making some good runs, and we need to keep an eye on him. Now, this was the problem against St. Troidense. Plenty of possession, oodles and oodles of possession, but it was all in front of the St Troidense players. There was nothing incisive, nothing clinical, nothing that got in behind them, that got their defenders turning. Any defence can sit and watch this comfortably, but that's a good pass, almost off Kier. Gets the foot in, plays it into Torres. Torres, that's a lovely return pass out to off Kier, who's continued his run and is now rampaging towards the byline. Checks, gets it back to Torres. Off Kier and Torres are combining superbly well here for Lokeren. Cuts the ball back, but it's Trebel that's there, and eventually Chipichu bashes the ball forward up to, this is Onakaru, who's going under the name of Henry. Okay, that's him though. Good play, good introduction. Here's Gerkens. Gets the ball wide now to Teodorovic. Teodorovic cuts inside. I'd like a shot, son, and he's taking a tumble, and the referee points to the penalty spot. Good play by Teodorovic. He cut inside from the left, advanced into the box, and Man has conceded a penalty. That is rather unfortunate from a Lokeren point of view, but that's clearly a penalty. He's just out hustled and thrown and hurled Teodorovic to the ground. And I'm surprised the referee didn't opt for a booking there. He sees the penalty as punishment enough, and here it will be Teodorovic himself, so he can take some direct action to try and keep his place ahead of Aloa. Will the threat of Aloa spur Teodorovic into the heights of glory here? Now, I've not been consistently good at the new penalty system, so here we go. That's a rather soft effort, but oh my goodness me, that is an absolutely abysmal effort from Teodorovic, and that may well have sealed his fate. I can't believe that. 21 minutes on the clock. We've been handed on a plate, on a golden platter, the ideal opportunity to respond in the right manner after our 2-0 defeat to St Troidense, and we have spunned it. Not just spunned it, we've thrown it back in the face of the referee with a custard pie attached to it. Oh, dearie, dearie me. Can this get worse? Here is Trebel. Good pass. Teodorovic tries to outmuscle his way through, but Skullerson is far too strong to repel him. Up goes Dendonker, just gets a flick on to that. Torres then dispossesses Gerkens. Oh, Gerkens, like Coombs, one of our key players, again not having a great game today thus far. He didn't exactly cover himself in glory against St Troidense either, but here is Amazon. Oh, what is that, Amazon? You didn't even look. That was just a pass for the sake of passing it, because you didn't want to be in control of the ball. You just wanted to get rid of it quickly. And now here's Onareku. That's surely a free kick. He was beyond these man. And referee, that has to be a booking. I'll be very surprised if it isn't. It is. Or is it? Well, the referee's not quite defined what he's doing here. I think he's let him off. I think he's decided to be a tad lenient here. That's a booking. Come on, referee, get your specs on. That's clearly a booking. Anyway, free kick, dangerous position. Let's get the ball into the box. Look at that Lokeren defence, all ready to push up and play offside. Ball comes in, nodded away by Filipovic, headed back in by Chipichu. Gerkens takes a deflection and ricochets wide of the target, and Anderlecht are at least applying some pressure, unlike in the last match against St Troidense. And this is a first half which at least has had some efforts on goal and some attacking intent. Corner kick. Will it go short? In fact, he's coming over to take it. It's Coombs now with the delivery. Coombs plays the ball into the box. Good header. It drops for Filipovic and he gets it away, but here's Spasic. Plays the ball in. That's a good pass by Spasic, but the Lokeren defenders are alive to it, and I think that's a foul, and Filipovic has gone down in a heap, clutching his knee, and the referee comes over to interrogate to find out what's going on, but I think he might not be continuing here. I think that's the curtailment of Filipovic's game, but from an Anderlecht point of view, that's not really a bad thing, because he's been one of Lokeren's dominant defenders thus far. Yeah, he looks stricken. Bounce up, as we used to say. And what, carry on, son? You're supposed to be giving us that ball back. Right. Okay, and off Kier comes charging forward. He's got Spasic to beat, but he does so with ease and swings across to the back post. But it eludes everybody and drifts out for a goal kick to Anderlecht. 39 minutes on the clock, and it's still goalless. And remember, Anderlecht have had the best opportunity of the match, which they passed up, with the penalty kick that Teodorovic fluffed. Scuffing it, I think that's the only expression. Scuffing it well past the post. What is that? That's just a punt. But Teodorovic gets the flick on, and this Route 1 football might just bear fruit. Ball's back into the box. Teodorovic goes in for the diving header, and that header may have taken a little nick off Gerkens, and Lokeren may have just got away with that. They have. It's a goal kick, but it was a perilously dangerous back header. I don't think he really knew where he was. He looked a bit disorientated. Here's Skulason, launches the ball forward into that right area, looking for the run of Off-Kier, who has certainly run our defence ragged at times. He and Torres have linked up wonderfully well as the half-time whistle blows. Okay, it's been a better first-half performance for Anderlecht compared to the first-half debacle against St. Troydense. Henry Onurukuru, he's played well. He's had a few decent runs. He was scythed down in the first half, so and the perpetrator of that foul was allowed to continue without receiving a yellow card, which I find bamboozling. I think the referee was far too over-indulgent in his leniency there. But he's shown a bit of spark, a bit of vim, a bit of purposiveness. Yeah, still 0-0, and of course the big black mark for us is missing that penalty kick. Teodorovic, I don't think he looked confident. I think he looked a bit shell-shocked. He didn't exhibit any signs that he knew where he was going to place the ball. He just stepped up, scuffed the ball wide. It was a dreadful penalty. And Aloha must have been sitting on the bench shaking his head, thinking, I would have scored that, boss. Well, maybe you would and maybe you wouldn't, but... yeah, Teodorovic, I think, has had his opportunity to impress me, and I think he has chucked that opportunity aside. I think he has... I think he spun it just like he spun the penalty kick. But yeah, you've got to hit the target from a penalty, and he failed to do that. He conclusively failed to do that. Right, second half. I'm not under-impressed by that first half performance. I thought we did okay. I thought we restricted Lokeren to very few opportunities. Sells has had, I think, one save to make, if you can call that a save. Let's just have a look at the highlights briefly. There's a chance for... Oh, yeah, that's a good recovery there by Filipovic, who must be carrying a knock now, surely, for Lokeren, and that might impact upon their defensive strength in the second half. We won't make any changes yet. Teodorovic will retain his place in the squad, despite missing that penalty, and in spite of the fact that he has our new £4 million acquisition from Leicester City, Leonardo Aloha, breathing heavily down his neck. That's a poor pass. Turkey, though, where's he going? Onuruku almost dispossesses him and almost has a straight run in on goal. Mircic on the right hand side. Spasic, oh dear, you just sold yourself there, Spasic, and that takes a wild ricochet as De Schacht tries to make the clearance, and Lokeren may well have an opportunity from a corner here. No, they don't. Well, it looked to me as though De Schacht got the final touch on that, as Sells propels the goal kick forward. Skulason goes up. Oh, and Teodorovic was almost onto that through ball like a Jack Russell down a rat hole. Nampati lays the ball back to Rasul. Long probing ball, and the keeper comes flying out and just on the edge of the 18-yard box, punches it clear. Some space is now opened up for Anderlecht as Gerkens. Gerkens has got the run now from Teodorovic. Teodorovic perhaps a bit too far wide, but there's the run on a chance, and it's a step over and a strike and a goal. That is absolutely beautiful football from Anderlecht. Gorgeous build-up play, and for once Teodorovic has taken advantage of his tendency to drift wide away from the central striking position. It bamboozled and confused the Lokeren defence. They were trying to pick him up, and it left a massive gap in the middle. Little step over there by Onurukuru, and the ball was eventually buried with gleeful aplomb by Peter Gerkens, his second goal of the season, and more critically, it's a goal which perhaps placates the Anderlecht fans as they were beginning to bay with horror and disbelief at what they were watching, as another disappointing Anderlecht performance appeared to be drifting towards an ignominious conclusion. Well, he's passed that straight to Teodorovic. What will he do now? He decides to strike it. Go, 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 go! And you have to turn Brazilian to salute that thunderbolt. What an absolute howitzer from Teodorovic. And Olua must be looking on now and wondering, well, will I get my place? What an absolute thunderbolt. Oh. Oh my goodness me, as you say, pick that out, one keeper. Picking it! Oh, that's travelling and then some. No goalkeeper on earth is going to save that. And look at my reaction. Jubilation. Oh, absolutely stunning strike from the Polish striker. And Lukas Teodorovic, after 58 minutes, scores his second goal of the season. Well, he just decided there isn't any option on. I've been presented with the ball. It's a gift. I'll just run onto it. I'll try my luck. I'll have a blast. And my goodness me, the goalkeeper has beaten all ends up. And Anderlecht double their advantage. But what an absolutely majestic strike. All packed with power from Teodorovic, and perhaps he is the man for the striking role after all. He certainly responded to the presence of Aloha. Teodorovic holds the ball up. Well, lovely play by Teodorovic. Gets the ball out now to Onakarakuru. Plays the ball back into Teodorovic. He's still got the ball after a little tussle with Rasul. Michel now for Lokeren. He's tried to lay the ball back now to Overmeer. Overmeer back to Michel. Plays the, lovely interception there by Amazuru, and here's Onurikayaru, plays the ball through, tries to thread it through the two defenders. Gherkin slides in and retains possession. There's Teodorovic, lovely flick on, and this is a great chance now for Chipachu. Can he square it? Oh, just knocked away and played back in, and again battered away by Rasul. 69 minutes on the clock. Anderlecht 2, Lokeren 0. The perfect recovery, the perfect response after our 2-0 reverse at the hands of Lokeren 2 days ago. And he comes striding through it. Soda! Good interception by Chipachu, denies him the chance. And Lokeren will have the corner, and he'll also make a substitution. It is Tracy Mpati making way, and Mario Tinichevi coming on. Right, let's defend this corner. Let's not give Lokeren any oxygen here. Let's not give them any hope that they can claw their way back into this tie. And eventually it's away, and Teodorovic knocks it forward, and Onakaru has to hold this one up. He does do, but in the process of trying to control the ball, it slips out from under his foot. In fact, that took a deflection off a Lokeren player, so it is indeed an Anderlecht throw-in. Onakaru to Amazu. Lays the ball back now to Spasic. Spasic dabs it wide to Dendoncker. Dendoncker picks the pass to Chipichu. Chipichu knocks it back to Dendoncker. This is nice composed football. I don't really mind Lokeren sitting back and allowing us to play in front of them now, because with 12 minutes to go, the game's surely dead. And that's a great pass. And here is Chipichu, cuts inside. Have a shot yourself, son. Oh, and he ends up whacking it thin air. That's disappointing. Unlucky. As Overmeer brings the ball forward again for Lokeren. Soda, who's dropped well back into the midfield area to try and get a glimpse of the ball. That shows you how well we've repressed him and nullified his threat today. Here's Coombs, lovely ball. Oh, Onakaru, he just doesn't have the physicality to get beyond that challenge. Overmeer wins and resists that tackle. Overmeer again. Sprays it to Turkey. Good chance. Booted away by Spasic though. And Lokeren are making a bit of a nuisance of themselves in these closing stages. 4 minutes to go. Can they get a consolation? Not that time. It's De Schacht who punts it forward. Teodorovic, lovely knock on. In fact, you know what we'll do for the final few minutes? We'll give a little bit of allow Teodorovic to have a bit of an encore, because he has been phenomenal today. An indifferent start to the match, but an absolutely scintillating conclusion. Capped by an absolutely gorgeous goal. A wonderful goal, you know, an absolute diamond of a goal, and that, I think, more than makes amends for his abject penalty miss. So, an encore for Teodorovic, and a rapturous welcome for our new £4 million signing, Leonardo Aloha. I think that's good managerial practice there. I'm quite proud of myself for that. And again, it's given away, but we're just too slack to capitalise. Here's Soder, tackled again, but Chipachu comes away with the ball, and here's Coombs. Coombs knocks the ball forward. He's trying to get it in behind, but that's a dreadful pass. Telegraphed, hospital pass, as we used to say. Chipachu denies Soder again. I think we've defended with real verve and real quality, and the concentration levels have remained high. Let's not concede a goal now, chaps. Knocked away again, and the shot comes in. It takes a deflection. 3 minutes into injury time, and will Lokeren have one last opportunity to get themselves a consolation as we make the substitution. Teodorovic comes off to a vociferous reception, a good ovation for him, and on comes Aloha, and he gets a wonderful ovation as an introduction from the fans. Welcome to Anderlecht. And there is the final whistle. And we have indeed made amends for our rather ignominious and humiliating 2-0 loss to St Troidense. We've now won today relatively comfortably against Lokeren. I don't think we were put under too much pressure today. And the final score, Anderlecht 2, Lokeren 0. We spurned the opportunity early on with the penalty kick. Teodorovic dragging the ball wide, an absolutely abject penalty. He won't want to see many replays of that. I won't be showing him any replays of that because it will just undermine his confidence. And his confidence must be buoyant because he scored an absolute scintillator. And I think it was, what do they call these goals? Worldies? Well, that was a world-class strike of some distinction that he scored. The second goal, we're focusing upon this one first. Sorry, Gherkins, we'll come to yours in a minute. You'll get your adulation soon, son. But we must turn to Teodorovic. He's completely turned this match around because he would have been going off as the pantomime villain had he left the field of play after missing that penalty so abjectly. There's Gherkin's goal, actually. That was a lovely goal, a thing of beauty, constructed elegantly. Lovely little step over and a ball inside. There is the strike from Teodorovic. Woof! Take that! Wham bam and thank you, ma'am. I think that almost burst the rigging. Anyway,